Hi, Flosstube. How are you today? It is Tuesday, May. Why do I keep wanting to say May? It's not May. It's June 12th at 10:43 a.m. here in Maryland. I have no notes. I have a pile of stuff. Not that big of a pile of stuff, so I don't think this is going to be too long. I hope to start keeping these under around a half an hour. We'll see. I haven't the faintest idea because I don't know what I'm going to say. I have a general idea of what I'm going to talk about, but we're just going to go with the flow. I think because I'm doing this weekly now instead of every 2 weeks, it kind of crept up on me before I realized it. We'll go with that. Okay. Hi, how are you? I hope you guys had a great week. I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me. If this is your first time, thank you for returning and being entertained by me. If you're returning, thank you for all your comments, your likes, your subscribes. If you gave me thumbs down, whatever, I'm not bothered by them. I do the best I can with what I have and try not to get my feet tangled up in yarn. Yeah, so welcome back. It has been kind of a busy week. Summertime, I would say lots going on, but it's not like it's a lot of summer activity. Just, you know, some weeks are busier than others. Let's see. The elephant in the room is my hair. Got it dyed again. It's looking really pale on camera. I'm probably not going to do this again. I'm disappointed for a couple different reasons. This time I tried to get the shadow root, the picture that I showed you the first time when I decided to do this. So with the color here at the root and then fading to my gray at the bottom. The stylist did put the color, pretty intense color, on my roots and let it sit for 20 minutes. And then came back, and she should have left it there because it was kind of a fade down to my gray. She came back and painted more on, kind of dragged the color, but painted more on the rest of it. And so when she washed it off, we had this strange occurrence of there being, even though she let this sit for 20 to 25 minutes up here, there was actually less color at the roots, and it all kind of was down here. And it was really an intense turquoise, really saturated. What you're seeing now is even less than what it is in real life. But it is much paler than it was to begin with. So it hasn't even been a week. That was last Thursday. I washed it for the first time yesterday. So, you know, I rinse it when I'm in the shower the other days. But yesterday is the first time I actually used shampoo on it. And I'm just kind of not happy with how faded it is already. So yeah, it's a lot of money to spend for color not even lasting. And it's a semi-permanent. I know it's going to fade. And it's probably a result of having gray hair, that it doesn't hold the color as well. She suggested that we try a permanent next time on the roots to try and get the color to stay up here. I don't think I want to go permanent because I don't want to have then the roots growing out gray and have the color, you know, striping. I don't want to do that. So it was a fun experiment. I get different reactions from people when they see a woman my age with candy. It's basically, like I said, it's a little paler on camera. It's basically the color of cotton candy, of the blue cotton candy. And I get different reactions from people that are like, you know, a lot of people love it. Other people are like, don't quite know how to take a woman of my age with this color hair. Whatever. It's me. Okay, so that was last Thursday. Last Friday, we went to see my friend who was recently placed on hospice care. We finally got up there to see her. She's doing great. It was such a good visit. She is having her pain managed by morphine, but we were able to just sit and talk for a good long while. It was me and my friend Marnie and her husband, and then my friend Rosemary and her husband, as well as her daughter and her granddaughter. They've come up to stay with, they're in Texas. They came up to stay with her for the duration, whatever that means. But it was great just being able to sit and talk with her. laugh and remember. And we gave her the photo book that we made, and of course she loved it, and Marnie had gotten a bunch of other little gifts. So it was just really special, and we're really glad we had that time. We went out to lunch, and yeah, it was a good time. Good to see her. Nothing on Saturday, and then Sunday I got to go to the DC Metro Stitchers meetup down in Fairfax, Virginia. Boy, there was a room full. I guess this was the best turnout they had had in a while. There were probably close to 20 people. Two of them had found out about it through my Flosstube channel, Tamara Bowen. Oh, see, I got it wrong, Tamara. And Elin Roethlisberger. We had exchanged a lot of chit-chat back and forth leading up to the thing on Sundays, so it was great to actually meet them in person, and I hope to continue getting together with them. Danielle Stitcherista was there, Minnie Gray was there, Stephanie Oh So Crafty was there, a lot of people that don't have Flosstube channels, several other that do that I haven't been introduced to yet. So all kinds of beautiful projects being worked on. It was just really neat to be able to get together with local stitchers like that. So again, I hope to do that a few more times before I head out of the area. And that basically brings us to today. So here we are. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot. I've worked on a variety of whips. I have no finishes, of course. It'll be probably a few more days before I get anything finished. This weekend, Thursday, we're leaving for New York City, heading up there for the weekend in the RV. I mentioned, I think, that there's a campground across from the city on the Jersey city side, and that's where we stay. We're trying to decide what Broadway show to see, so if you have any recommendations, I'd love to hear them. We're going to have to buy the tickets yet, but we're going to do a tour of the NBC studios. I have to check the weather. I haven't checked the weather yet, so but we're looking forward to getting away. We always enjoy being out in the RV. But so some whips to show you, both knitting and stitching, of course, and a little bit of stash. Not a whole lot, because like I said, I blew my wad last week, the first week of June, so it's going to be a long month. So anyways, let's get started. I think I mentioned I've declared Saturdays as Sally Spencer Saturdays. So there's the Sally Spencer sampler, Birds of a Feather. There's quite a few people doing this. Sal, a number of you have already gotten it done. I'm only working this on Saturdays, so I just got a little bit more progress. I got this line done here, got part of that letter, I think that's a G, part of that letter, that might be the E, and part of that flower, and the rest of the numbers done up there. Oh, and I started this this vine over here just to see how those colors all looked. So happy with that. Wish I had more hours in the day to do all the things, because I'd really like to make more progress on that, but I'm not, because this is what I'm concentrating on. Harbor Haven, the By the Bay Needle Arts, not a mystery stitch along, but stitch along. So this is part 6 here that I'm working on. We have part 7 too, that came out, so I'm going to work part 6 and 7 together. Didn't get as much stitching on this. I had hoped to have this pretty much done by now, but I didn't, so you know, we do what we can. Elin brought hers. She is working on this as well, so it was neat seeing she's doing it on 32 count, so we were comparing the colors that we're using and showing everybody the difference between the two. That's the whole thing. It is getting too big to show all in one screen, but totally in love still. I did modify the face a little bit, so let me bring this up close. What are you sniffing at, Nina? Oh, Nina just got attacked by Sasha. We're gonna have a cat fight here, right on video. Well, you'll hear the audio, you won't see it. Oh, stop it, you two. Sasha is definitely feeling better if he's up to fighting with his sister. this isn't a bad thing, no matter what Nina might think. So anyways, the face, she designed it to have one stitch for a nose sticking out there. And I didn't like it. I just felt it made it look too cartoonish. So I just left it off and left the face flat. I am going to, it also calls for a French knot for the eye. And because this fabric is so small, let me find you one of the other ones, you can see that the French knots, even with one strand, are a little bit bulky on this fabric because it's a 36 count. So I'm just going to do some kind of line or something for the eye, some kind of line for the mouth. And then I think she has the brows on here too. I don't know how much I'm going to do. Oh, he is feeling so much better. Listen to him. I don't know whether you can hear him. If he's not feeling good, he doesn't do that. So I am very pleased to hear him carrying on like that. Sasha, what's the matter? Nina wants to attack him now, so this is not a bad thing. The next one, so Lizzie Kate, this is Snowman 10. Now, my Bitsy Bob, my second Bitsy Bob, I have found that another great use for these things is to actually keep everything in here. I don't know whether that was her original plan, and of course your bigger projects you can't, but this is pretty much perfect to fit the small pamphlet and the fabric. And then I have a couple of the flosses in there. I could probably actually fit all of the flosses in there, and then the flosses that I'm currently using are right there. So, loving my Bitsy Bob. And that's where I am. So I got all the snowman filled in, started on the band. Let me show you the chart here. Started on that band there with a snowflake. That is Nina. I was just thinking I need to have something to hold behind these, but I put my my mats away, my blocking mats that I usually use. But anyway, so I was hoping to have this done by now, but obviously I don't. It'll go to New York with me. Probably pretty much everything here is going to go to New York with me because, you know, just in case. Next one is, why are you over there? Next one is Indigo Lane. I worked on this at the meetup. So there's that, Brenda Gervais, Indigo Lane. And I had, let's see, I think the last time you saw it, I didn't have that motif finished. So I finished that. I started on the one up here that's the same as this, and then I started on the house. I had outlined the roof before the meetup so that I could work on that, you know, have that brainless space to fill in. And I had been hoping to get that done at the meetup, but of course, you know how those go where there's more talking than stitching, right? But that's okay. Now, I had started the house itself to see if I liked the floss color that I chose. Remember I had said I try and touch on different, if I'm changing colors, I try and touch on them rather early in the piece so I can see how they're playing. I didn't like how it was playing with the other colors. The pattern calls for, I don't have the pattern itself out, it calls for a DMC color. Might be something like 3021, I can't remember. It's like a cocoa. I did not, and I didn't have the one it called for, so I pulled out something that I thought was similar. I didn't like how it was playing with the other colors. And when I look at the picture, I don't know, it seemed to me that there was more. It's kind of hard to see in the video. The quality's bad because I've kind of closed the blind a bit for the light so the light doesn't glare too much. And I guess that does look kind of solid, but I didn't like the color that I had picked. So I'm going to hold off on the house. I'll work on the other motifs until I get something I like for that. I probably will just have to take it to the store and to the to look at the different, because I do want to over dyed for that. So I'll have to find something that I like. Do you hear him? He's just going on and on. Sasha! Anyways, Indigo Lane. That's a nice one to stitch on. So there's that. I did work on Hoity Toity just a little bit. I decided that I didn't want to totally not touch some of these other ones that I love so much. So kind of my overarching plan is, if I have a day where I don't have any errands to do, any running around to do, I am going to pull out one of these big ones and work some on that. So this past week was Hoity Toity. This was Wednesday that I worked on this. So I got the rest of this. Well, there's other colors that go in here, so I still have to do that, but I got this is Tropical Ocean. He certainly is singing to us today, isn't he? I got this part done, and I got that handsome fox done. Isn't he cute? And then I got more of the dark blue done here, starting to outline that butterfly motif. There was another woman at the meetup that was doing Hoity Toity. She was doing it on more of a cream linen. I forget, I think it might have been a 32 count. Don't remember. And she was using exactly the called for colors. I went more pink. The called for colors I think are more orangey. As I mentioned before, I don't care for orange that much. So I definitely have gone more pink. So it's not exactly as called for. So the fox, I think, was a more orangey color is what it was called for. I think it's gorgeous. That, I believe, is done in Victorian Motto Sampler Threads Shades of Coral. And I think he's just so cute. So, Hoity Toity. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So that is all my stitching whips. Knitting kind of has taken a turn this past week. I got asked to do 2 more test knits. One for Laura Nelkin, which was just a jewelry piece, so a smaller piece, and it's really cute. I finished that. I can't show it until I think she's going to be putting it up as a kit in her Etsy shop with the pattern on Ravelry. So I can't show you that until that is up. I also was asked to do Casapinka asked me to test knit her mystery knit along that's coming up in July. So I don't have the pattern for that yet, but I will be doing that, and that means I will be doing a lot more knitting and less stitching, and knitting that I can't show you. So over the course of that, I may go back to filming every 2 weeks, probably still doing a Stitch With Me video, but filming every 2 weeks because I'm not going to have that much that I can show you. But having said that, so that means, and then I really want to get Kat's test knit done and off my plate before Bronwyn's come in, Casapinkas come in, so that I don't have dueling test knits here taking up my time. So that means I got a little bit more done on Laura's caramelized cowl. There's the kind of a picture of that there, a little bit. You can see a little bit of that, not too much. So I think the last time I showed it to you, I had gotten to the bead row. You can see the beads spaced out on there, intertwined with this kind of wrapped stitch. So the next section, I started the next section, which is the same as this. Hold on one second here. Let me put this behind it. We'll put Hoity Toity behind it because they're a good match. So the next section is going to be the same as this section, only everything will be offset. So the wrapped stitches will be here. There might actually be a plain set in between like this, and then the next set up, everything will be offset. So the wrapped stitches will fall above this, and the bead stitches will fall above this. But this isn't getting any work done on it until I get my test knits done. So that gets put on the back burner, goes into hibernation, as we say. And then this one I'm working on pretty steadily. So this is Kat's Mabel pullover. Kitty Bee Knitting is her business name on Ravelry, and is also her Instagram name. So I got the first sleeve done. Now, if you recall, I mentioned last week that I only had a small ball of yarn left, and I had to split it up between, I split it into 2 balls so I would have equal amounts for each sleeve. Oh, for heaven's sakes. I would have equal amounts for each sleeve. So this is what I have for this sleeve, or for the second sleeve. So I did not get through. I was hoping to get through all of the decreases. There was a bunch of decreases, and then an inch of plain stitching, of stockinette stitching, and then an increase row before you get to the bell sleeve. I didn't even make it through all of the decreases. So I just stopped the decreases, did the increase row, and did the bell, switched to the other yarn and did the bell sleeve. And this other yarn is a mohair and a single ply held together, so you can see that there's a bit of a halo there from the fuzz from the mohair. Super, super neat effect. I love that. And you know, there's a lot of dyers now that are dyeing mohair to match yarn that they have. So they're dyeing mohair and sock weight usually together so that they match. So you can do this kind of effect, because there's a lot of patterns out there that are starting to do this. And I love it. It's such a soft, neat looking effect. So this sleeve comes down, well, you can see it comes down to about here on me. It will grow a little bit with blocking. It's okay. It's not perfect. It's not as long as I would want, but it's okay. So I will have to make sure and do the exact same thing over on this side. I have the exact same amount of yarn, so it should work out the same. And then I will be picking up with these 2 yarns again. I'll be picking up around the collar and doing a certain number of rows like this. So it's going to fold over. I don't know how much I'm going to have left. I'm really starting to panic with how this is going to turn out. I'll be very sad if I don't have enough to get the full effect like it's supposed to look on the collar. This is what happens when you cobble yarns together. I thought I was going to have enough. I had 880 in this dark, and I have another 400 in the other skein. A lot of it went up here. You know, it is what it is. If nothing else, we've learned that you can't skip on yarn. You gotta make sure you have enough. And you know, it's still a good test for Kat, because I'm catching things, and you know, just an editing type of thing for her patterns, and that's never a bad thing. So I hope to have that done. You know, that will be going to New York. I'll be working on that on the drive. Might be close by the end of the weekend. There's going to be a lot of knitting on that collar, depending on how much yarn I have left. We'll see. So hopefully I'll be close by the end of the weekend. So that is all the whips. Just have a little tiny bit of haul. Where are we at? We're at 23 minutes. Okay, that's not bad. Sasha has stopped yammering. He might be mad because I've closed the bathroom door. He has gotten into the habit of getting into the tub after we get out of the shower and drinking the water. And you know, that can't be good for him. His stomach is such a mess. His insides are just such a mess that he doesn't need to be drinking soapy water on top of it. So I've closed the door, and he's probably yelling at me because he wants to get in there. Too bad. All right, like I said, I don't have much haul, and pretty much all of this came from orders at the beginning of the month. Well, except this. I did get some sulky variegated blue. I had mentioned I'm going to do a gift for a friend. I don't know whether she watches these or not, so I'm not going to say any more. But I think that's really pretty. So that'll be fun to stitch with. I did get the set of these that goes with the Leeds House sampler. I am still waiting on my fabric. I ordered it through my local stitching store up here, the Stitching Post. When I went to get that, the order for the fabric still hadn't come in. So that is still on hold. I got, let's see if I can do this without the glare. I'm going to go ahead and take it out. Forgive the wrinkles. This I got, the apartment complex here was doing a promotion, and they do a kind of a promotional rewards type of thing for posting on Instagram and, you know, promoting them. And I got a $15 gift card to Amazon, and Amazon has some Prairie Schooler charts. So I got the Garden Samplers. This is one of the reprinted ones. This isn't the original cardstock. But I had had this on my list, and when I saw, I sure hope it isn't a, you know, an illegal copy. There's no way I can tell. There's nothing on it that tells me it is. It's definitely a printed, not on the cardstock. This is from 1994. But I had had this on my list, and when I saw that they carried it, I was like, okay, that's a perfect use for my $15 gift card. So this was basically free. Can't beat that, right? Okay, take 15 and a half. No, not really. Usually I just do my videos in one take. I kind of have a good enough idea of what I'm going to say that I can just flow with it. When I showed you the floss the first time, I was using the back of the Garden Sampler, the Prairie Sampler chart that I just got, not realizing that one of the charts, there was a nice white spot that I was using to show the floss, not realizing that the chart was right there. Luckily, I usually scan through my videos. I was trying to find a part where I slapped myself. I coughed a little bit and I ended up slapping the microphone. Hopefully that was within the part I just deleted with all the floss. So anyways, I got some floss. I'm going to show you. And I'm not going to show you a chart at the same time. So, Victorian Motto. The June Club flosses. This is part of why I have no money left. But it's totally worth it. Okay, I'm going to show you the primitive ones first. I kind of like to twist them up because I think you see the variegation better. And I'm not going to use a chart as the background. And actually, I think this works better. This is one of my blocking boards. So this is Meadow Hillside. Isn't that pretty? Look at the variegation in that. God, so pretty. She does such great things. Oh, and I'm just in time now for the mower to go by. We've jumped to 1:45. That's how much time these are taking. Okay, this one is called Granite. I had actually already put this one away in my Indigo Lane because I think this will work for the house. Look at the variegation in that. Isn't that pretty? Now, the first take I did with this, it was showing much green. The light is better. The sun is further over on this side of the house, so I'm getting some nice clean light coming in these windows. And that's pretty accurate. Might be not quite that bright, but the cameras always seem to pull in more light than is really accurate. But it's pretty good. It's really kind of shining on my hair, isn't it? Okay, this one is called Wine Cellar. Look how pretty that is. I cannot wait to use this one. I don't know on what. That might be pretty on one of the Christmas things, huh? Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. Wine Cellar. This one is called Blooming Dahlia. Not quite as much variegation on that, but still really pretty peaches. Huh? This one is Blooming Delphinium, and this one actually has a DMC equivalent. This is 155. So there isn't quite as much variegation. A little bit. Actually, it's showing more variegation there, I think, just because of the shadows of the way I have it twisted. Really pretty. And then this last one, I adore. This is so gorgeous. This is called 1800s Lace, and there is some really nice variegation on that. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Oh, scrumptious. Need to use that one soon, too. Okay, so that was the primitive colors. Now on to the limited edition. This one is called Wild Phlox. I had just as much trouble saying that in the first go around as this go around. Wild Phlox. Again, gorgeous, gorgeous. Look how pretty that is. Oh, I need to find something to use these in soon. This one is called Various Violets, and that is because there are, I'm trying to get it smoothed out, that's because there is various violets in this. So pretty. Oh, I just want to jump in and use these for everything right now. This one is called Austin Rose. Oh, she just does an amazing job with color. So pretty. The darks and the lights. God, I love that. This one, this will wake you up. Neon Lime. I don't see as much variegation in this, but what a gorgeous color. Look at that. Now it looks like there is variegation just because of the way the light is hitting. There really isn't as much variegation in this. It's just the shine from the light coming in the window. That's pretty accurate there. Oh, gorgeous. This one is called Mountain Flower. There is some nice variegation in this. Tonal variegation. That's getting a little bit too bright there. That's pretty. Oh, like working hoity-toity some way. I could just constantly keep replacing colors and things, huh? And this one is Midnight Brown, and it does have the DMC. This is 3371. Because who doesn't need 20 yards of 3371, right? Gorgeous. I can't recommend her flosses enough. I will be getting these as long as I can. I'm gladly spend the money. Okay, back to our regular scheduled program. I'm gonna stop and then we'll be coming back. I don't know, because I have no notes, I have nothing prepared. I don't know what slideshow I'm gonna put at the beginning of this, so it's going to be a surprise for me at least. By the time you get to this point, you'll have already seen it, so it's not a surprise for you. I am going to do a separate video. We have Christmas in July. Let's see, today's June 12th. So I have about 2.5, 3 weeks, whatever, to get ready for Christmas in July. So I think I'm going to do a separate video kind of talking about my preparations for that, going through my different Christmas ornament magazines and showing you what I'm going to do for that. I'm probably not going to go through and pick out all the fabric and fibers for each one. I think when each day gets here, I'm going to decide which ornament and go to my bin and find the fabric and get the floss and just start. My plan is to not do anything that is any of the ornaments that's going to take more than a day or two. I'm going to try and, excuse me, and I just patted on that microphone. I bet you that's going to sound wonderful. Sorry. I don't plan on doing any ornament that is going to take more than a day or two. I want to keep them pretty simple and straightforward. So that's my plan as I look through my magazines, but I'll show you all that in a separate video. Like I said, this weekend's New York, and then before you know it, it's going to be July. Still don't have any news on Hawaii when we're moving there, any type of timing. Mike has not gotten the official notice from HR yet. Government, what can you say? So, folks, 32 minutes. That's pretty darn good. I'm happy with that. I will try and think of what I'm going to say. There was something else. Plans for other videos. Oh, the Knit Companion thing. I am going to get those done. Not until after we get back from New York, obviously. I won't be doing a stitch with me this week. I only have tomorrow. We leave Thursday morning, so I'm not going to worry about that. Sorry. Next week, and then next week will be Christmas plans. I'll probably be doing quite a few videos next week, so hopefully that'll make up for it. Knit Companion, I don't think I'm going to show you how to use it for knitting, because the Create to Thrive Knit Companion people themselves have a ton of videos up on YouTube showing how to use the new app, their updated version. So I don't think I need to repeat them. They're the creators. They know it much better than I do. But I will link to them. I will talk about them, and then I'll show you how I use it for cross stitch, but that will be another video at some point, hopefully before the end of June. All right, that's my signal. I am going to say goodbye now. I look forward to chatting with you here on Instagram. Please like and subscribe. And follow me on Instagram. I have great conversations with people. I love all the interaction, and I love the friendships I'm forming. Like I said, Tamara and Elin, it was great meeting them in person because we had already formed some bonds here, and so I really enjoy that. And I'm going to need that when I'm in Hawaii because I won't know anybody. So please be my friend. All right, gang. Have a great week. Do what brings you joy. I wish you much joy and happiness and sunshine. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.